I was afraid of people's opinion. Falar mais e melhor cada dia. Se isso era oh, look at this one, she just now started filming videos and she's already filming videos in English, she's so famous. No, they used to return my garbage. My opinion is that life for Japanese people is very, very hard if they commit suicide. So they have a forest where they go. I was very, very afraid of giving birth in a natural way. I look at it, I'm so grateful that it happened in that way. Hi guys! So, I've been thinking a lot about doing this kind of video. I mean a video in English, obviously. Because of two things. First of all, obviously English is not my native language. So please excuse me if I make some kind of mistake with like words or verbs or past time, present time and stuff like that. I'm obviously trying to get out of my comfort zone to film something just from the top of my head, so bear with me. Second thing is that I was afraid of people's opinions in a way that they can think like, oh, look at this one, she just now started filming videos and she's already filming videos in English, she's so famous. No, obviously it's not about that. The reason I want to film a video in English is because I have a lot of you guys, mostly from Portugal, asking me to do a video, first of all, in Portuguese. Afortunadamente ainda não posso fazer um vídeo inteiro em português, mas acho que em um pouco vou tentar fazer um vídeo assim. Eu sei já que a família do meu marido vai brincar comigo depois de ver esta parte em português, mas olha, estou tentando aprender e falar mais e melhor cada dia. Se isso era ok que eu falei agora. So anyways, also I have a lot of you guys asking me to film in English, so I'm here. Today's subject is going to be something that 90% of you ask me to talk about, and that's my experience of living in Japan and also giving birth. So if you want to hear an interesting story about especially giving birth and living in Japan, just grab a cup of coffee or tea. It's cold outside, so sit down and listen to what I have to say and hopefully enjoy. So anyways, I was 8 months pregnant when I moved to Japan. My husband plays football and he signed for Yokohama Marinos 2 years ago. So obviously we had to move and make our life there in Yokohama. Yokohama is the second largest city in Japan. It's like 15 minutes away from Tokyo and it's enormous. It has a lot of people and it's amazing. Yokohama is really just like a family city. It's a very secure city. Japan in general is very secure, a very secure country. I don't think there's any place like that in Japan, in the world, a place like Japan. When we talk about feeling secure, when we talk about cleanness, but I'll get to that later. Tokyo, however, is for all of you guys that are planning to have a full experience of Japan, go to Tokyo because Tokyo has so much to offer, like everything you can imagine, fun or amazing or incredible or weird, you have in Tokyo. Wait a second, I need to move my curtains so you can see me better. Hopefully you will be able to see me better now, although the sun is in my face now. Okay. Tokyo is amazing for all of you guys that are maybe without kids or maybe looking to just like backpack through the world. Sorry for my phone. Yeah, but Yokohama, let me talk to you about Yokohama. Yokohama is a huge city, but very, very good for a family. It's very easy, very relaxed, very quiet. I'm going to talk to you first about just living in Japan, how we spend our days there, and what's my opinion at the end about Japan, living there for 2 years. As I said, I was 8 months pregnant when I moved there. In the beginning, I was completely desperate. Like everybody that knows me knows that I used to hate Japan. I didn't know how to go to the supermarket, how to talk to them, how to explain what I want. Nobody in Japan speaks English. It's very difficult to find somebody that does. In one way, I'm amazed by that because they do not want to do anything if they're not fully capable of doing it. They do not speak English unless they know perfectly how to speak English. If not, that's just like embarrassing for them. So that's why it was so difficult to talk with them. But we luckily had 2 translators with us 24/7, so they helped us a lot. I used to call them like 10 times a day for everything, like, oh, I need a translation how to make this soup, or how can I make milk for Bianca, or I used to call them for everything. Also for my like checkups when I was pregnant. Yeah, I used to have a male translator with me, obviously not looking, to explain what's going on in my stomach and down there. So yeah, that was interesting. Anyways, Japan, first of all, is insanely clean. First time when I got there, I had to learn how to sort out my garbage in 8 different types of garbage. So that was the first thing that was kind of annoying and amazing in the same time. They used to return my garbage to my door because like there's no garbage in the streets, like nothing. The streets are clean as my house. So you have a special room in the building where you have to take out the trash, throw out the trash. So they used to take it back to my house in front of the door because I didn't sort it out the way I should. So that was kind of embarrassing in the beginning, but I didn't used to have that experience because in my country you just throw it like in the garbage outside in the street and that's it. I think that's why Japan is such a big force as it is, because they take care of everything, even the garbage. So they recycle everything. So you have to sort it out, like cans, plastic, glass, batteries, food, fruits, meat, everything. So yeah, I needed some time to learn how to do that. The next thing that I also loved, especially when walking with my daughter outside, is that they have so much respect for everybody next to you, that they never talk on their phones when they go out, never talk in a loud way. There's never like honking in the car, nothing. Like the street is as quiet as my house. So that was awesome, because when I went for walks with my baby daughter then, she used to sleep like for 2 hours outside because there was like no noise. Also an awesome thing, like their supermarkets are equipped in an amazing way. Every day they have everything fresh fruits. I don't know if I'm losing light right now. Hopefully you can still see me. They always have fresh fruit, fresh meat, everything like until 5-6 o'clock in the afternoon. After that, like if you don't buy it, they clean it out. You cannot buy it anymore because they consider it not fresh. So that was awesome. Also, when I was going out for walks or by myself or with my daughter, I go without anything because I know I can buy her like a fresh cup of fruit with the fork and everything. So that kind of eases your mind when you're a new mom, like preparing a bag full of everything, right? So that's also awesome. But one thing though, Japan is insanely expensive, like insanely expensive. So they have like 2 parts inside of one store. Like one part is like fresh fruit, fresh meat, everything fresh. That was like a small part. Bigger part was like already made foods that were like 10 times cheaper than the ones that I used to buy, because my husband and daughter obviously had to prepare everything fresh. Although that kind of food was also fresh, but I still like to know what I put inside, if I don't like put a lot of oil and stuff like that. So for example, I would buy like a salmon, freshly cut salmon like this big for like €8, and then you have a plate that has already prepared food, like the same piece of salmon with rice and a salad, and that's like €3. That's more like than double, so less than double. So I always used to buy everything fresh, and I used to spend a lot of money every day in the store because of that. But like 90% of Japanese people buy already made food. I never understood why fresh food was so cheap, or so much cheaper than the already made one. But yeah, everybody buys the already made one. First of all, because they work like 20 hours a day. Second of all, because life is so expensive, you know, you have to save money. Japan is awesome for foreign people. For us, it was amazing. They have so much respect for us, and our life is very relaxed there. Like, we can have everything we want there. But for Japanese people, my opinion, of course, I'm sorry if somebody disagrees, but my opinion is that life for Japanese people is very, very hard, like very hard. Because from the beginning, like from their birth, they're like underneath so much pressure, under so much pressure to do everything the way like everybody expects from them to do. Like, you have a lot of studies, a lot of videos about kids in Japan, how they like sit like this ever since they're like 1.5-year-olds or stuff like that. So I think that's the reason why Japan was #1 when it comes to suicide for many years in the world. I don't know if they're like #1 or #2 now, but anyways, they're under a lot of pressure every day. So that's just my opinion. When I go to the store, like, they don't even look at you in the eyes. They're just like, thank you, arigatou gozaimasu, just doing this all of the time, like without looking at you, just going like robots. So I kind of felt bad and sad a bunch of times because of them when I see that, because I know it's so difficult for them to fulfill all of the expectations everybody has around them. I mean, they have so much, how do you call that? They think so much about other people that they even have a forest, they call it like forest for suicides. And I was completely stunned when I heard about that. They don't want to bother other people if they commit suicide, so they have a forest where they go to do that. That's, for me, that's shocking and very sad, but also in the same way completely amazing that they still think about that in like the worst moments of their lives when they want to do that. So you basically have like a crew of people that goes to that forest and cleans the bodies. So yeah, I think for Japanese people living in Japan, I really think it's very difficult. Also, as far as I've seen, for 2 years, they really treat their women kind of badly. They don't really respect their wives that much, women that much. I think older people, yeah, like for example your grandma, like I think their moms, I think that men respect them a lot, but like wives, I also heard a couple of shocking stories that after giving birth, the woman goes back to like her mom and dad's house for the first 3 months to not bother her husband with a newborn. So I was like, really? A woman goes through pregnancy, gives birth and everything like that, and then she moves out so the husband doesn't like get bothered with the baby? So yeah, maybe that was like, those were like stories from people that are maybe a lot more like Japanese. I know there are a lot of like families and people now, they're like a lot more, to say like that, liberal, open opinions, like much more modern. But yeah, I've heard a couple of very different stories. So yeah, it's always interesting to hear stories about Japan. So yeah, I know also a couple of stories that like drivers of the trains, like the trains first of all come at the second that they're scheduled to come. Like, that's insane, and that's awesome, because every time we wanted to travel somewhere, you always use the train, like, because the trains are the fastest thing to go around. So every time we wanted to use the train, we knew that exactly at that minute the train is gonna come and go exactly at that minute. So that's very good for us. But also at the same time, we've read a couple of stories that the drivers of the trains committed suicide because they were like 2 minutes late to the station. I swear I'm literally not making up stories. Those are all real stories. So I know that for a lot of you probably is going to be shocking as it was for me. So yeah, that's why I keep saying that maybe I think, in my opinion, Japanese are not having a easy life in Japan. But also for us, all of that scenery, like everything, the way that Japan functions and Japanese people function is amazing, just amazing. So yeah, they have a lot of respect. Many times it happened that maybe we're like out for lunch or dinner and somebody recognizes my husband, like some fans of the club. They never, not single time like approached him during like dinner or a meal. They always wait outside. If it's an hour, they will wait for an hour. Respectfully, like, do this, ask if they can take a photo, not like come anywhere near him until he says okay. So I'm really amazed about their culture, tradition, everything. They're just amazing. So yeah, that's the first part about just general things in life in Japan, just things that I noticed. So then it came moment for my birth. So when I went for a checkup, like my last checkup at the gynecologist, he said that he needed to admit me to the hospital because my water was running low, so he needed to make an induction. So we chose a private hospital that they were people from the club said that the hospital is amazing, we should go there. Okay, we went there. First of all, we paid so much money for that hospital, like so much money, and at the end it was, for me, I expected a lot more. First of all, for that much money in a private hospital, I expected one person that's going to speak English in the entire hospital. But no, there was nobody speaking English, but I'll get to that. So they admitted me, I think it was Friday morning, no, Friday night. We went there, so my husband was like, do you want your mom, my mom was there already. So he was like, do you want your mom to stay and sleep with you? Because we had like a small like apartment, like a huge room with 2 beds and like a bathroom and a small part of the kitchen and stuff like that. So I was like, no, I'm gonna do it by myself, no problem. He's like, Nina, I know you're gonna need your mom. I should bring clothes for your mom too. And I was like, no. He's like, Nina, trust me, for sure you're gonna want to. Okay, I was like, yeah, okay, we'll see. So the doctor comes before my mom and my husband go back home and I stay in the hospital. The doctor comes and he's like, okay, tomorrow morning we're gonna put you on induction and we're gonna use like some kind of weed to make you open up more, to help you open up. After that weed, we're gonna take it out and put a balloon that we're gonna inflate to make you open up even more. At that moment, I started freaking out because but I wasn't expecting that. I'm a type of person that likes to know what's gonna happen. I can accept it, but I need to know it in time. So I was not expecting that. And at that moment, I started freaking out. So, but I was like, yeah, we'll go, you're right, my mom is gonna sleep with me here. So yeah, she stayed there. So tomorrow morning comes, my mom is with me in the room. Obviously, my husband has to work. So they came into my room and they put me in induction. They also put some kind of weed inside that's like completely natural. That's some Japanese things that they do to help me open up. So the induction started. In a couple of hours I started having pains. I started having like contractions, small contractions, but they were still like kind of painful. So my husband comes after training and he helped me a lot. Like he was holding like a hot towel in my back because I was having so much pain. Anyways, around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the doctor comes and he's like, oh, you're not dilated enough. We're gonna take you off of the induction and just you can sleep and then tomorrow we'll continue. And my mom and I were completely in shock, like, you're gonna stop an induction? How can you stop an induction if I already have contractions? Like, that doesn't exist. Like, what are you gonna do? So he was like, no problem, we do that in Japan. You just need to relax, the pain is gonna pass, just sleep, you need to relax and tomorrow we'll continue. And I was like, yeah, okay. So my husband went home, my mom stayed with me. She ended up staying like all 7 days with me in the hospital. So I still don't know if I need to turn on the lights. I'm hoping you can see me. So anyways, night comes and I was supposed to sleep, but my pain continued. So I called the nurse and I'm like, listen, my pain, I think it's just growing stronger. She's like, no, that's just the effect of the induction, just sleep it out. Yeah, okay. So after an hour, I'm just talking with my mom in the bed, and I'm just, after an hour, I can still feel the pain, like burning sensation here, like getting stronger. So I call her again after an hour, and I'm like, listen, this is getting stronger and like faster, like from the movies, like you can tell that it's less minutes apart. She's like, no, for sure, just continue to sleep. So that was like already around midnight. So I call her again and I'm like, listen, this is getting stronger. I'm like dying from pain. Like, please, just can you see what's happening? She's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. So she's the only person that speaks a bit of English in the hospital, like a bit. We still had to use the translator. So she wanted to check up on me. So when she checked up on me down, she was like, oh my God, you're like 7 centimeters dilated. Like you're like with so much pain. Why didn't you tell me something before? And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I've been calling you for like 3 or 4 hours with pain and you just kept ignoring me. So she was like, yeah, let's go. So we immediately went to the room for giving birth. So that's when they give me like 30 like paper signs in English that I was supposed to like lift up and explain how I feel at that moment. Like a lot of pain, I feel like I'm gonna vomit, it's not so hard and stuff like that. So when she handed me like those 30 like papers, I was like, really? You expect from me to like look at the papers and explain how I'm feeling in the middle of me giving birth? Like it was insane. So anyway, I called my husband. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. He came like running, and we ended up being in the room for giving birth until like 8:45, and that's when Bianca came. So in total, my birth, according to the doctors, was around 35 hours when you count the hours when the induction started, and when they stopped it, my natural birth started going. So it was in total like 35 hours. They gave me no medicine, no headache medicine, no nothing. Like it was completely natural. So at the end, Bianca came on the 29th of March 2017 at 8:45 in the morning, completely healthy. I was completely healthy, thank God. My husband was next to me, so I'm very thankful for that. The 3 of us like did it together. I pushed like 2 times, she came out. So that was at the end an amazing experience. So although there were like moments with the weed inside of me and the like showing papers how I feel and also like stopping the induction, there were a couple of like insane moments for me from Europe that like people in Europe don't do that doesn't happen. But at the same way, I was now when I look at it, I'm so grateful that it happened in that way, because I managed to do something that I never thought I could manage. I was very afraid of giving birth in a natural way, so they basically made me do it that way, because when you're healthy, when you're young, they think that you should do it without any medicine, like in the ancient times, like just find that force inside of yourself. And I really did that with the help of my husband, but mostly by myself, right? You need to have that mental state to just keep calm and just understand what you have to do that's best for you and your baby, and just push it. And I did it. So I'm very grateful and thankful that it happened that way now. It was a crazy ride, but I'm very happy that it happened like that. So in general, now when we talk about Japan, like just sometimes when me and my husband sit down and just reminisce and think about those times, I mean, it was just a year ago that we moved to Turkey. We really are grateful for all of that time that we passed there. We were treated in an amazing way. Japan is amazing. We have so many positive things to talk about Japan. So many amazing moments. I mean, we made a family there too, but that's just personal. But in general, like, opinion of Japan is amazing. So if any of you guys from Japan, I still have a lot of Japanese people following me on Instagram, and Ugo also, like tens of thousands of people from Japan. So if any of you are watching this video, thank you so much also for the support you gave to my husband. So many messages that I received. You guys are completely amazing. Everything you do is amazing. The way you treat each other is amazing. The way you take care of your country, everything is just incredible. So anyway, that was my story about Japan, about giving birth. Please leave any comments below if you have, good or bad, for me to know if I should do more videos in English. I'm happy to do them, talking about some parenting stuff, talking about languages, different languages in my family, because we have a lot of languages in my family. How my daughter manages to speak a lot of them, just 2.5 years old. Fashion, like anything you would like, I'm here. So that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I didn't make a lot of mistakes in English. Hopefully you guys could understand. So a special shout out for all of you in Portugal and Japan, and also a couple of you, my friends from Australia. A huge kiss and hug for all of you guys, and see you soon. Bye!